Alright my dear friends, today we're going to be talking about The Acolyte. It is just around the corner and we have some massive new footage. Are you ready to get stuck in? Was I wrong? Where has all of this been? This footage is mind-blowing. I'm not exaggerating, why wasn't it in the earliest trailers? While there are some scenes which look very volume-esque, very boxed in, very Kenobi-like. Now that we've gotten a proper look at the space battles, those look so freaking cool. And we've gotta talk about them. I still don't know if the show's going to be any good, but visually speaking, this has definitely given me a more optimistic outlook. There seems to be a lot of influence from the opening scenes of Episode 8 The Last Jedi. Now you might say, well Meg, that's a bad thing. Just hear me out. Because say what you will about the characters and the plot of Episode 8, the visuals and cinematography at times were top notch. And it looks as though they're going the same cinematic route in this show. For the budget, some scenes do look like they're made for the big screen, and it shows maybe for a lot of it there wasn't an over-reliance on the volume, which is great. Some of the ships are really amazing, and I'll get onto those in just a sec. Something else I noticed, Osha the Good Twin is very much a Cal Kestis type of character. A lot of this does look Jedi Fallen Order influenced, and Amanda Stenberg has finally cleared up the twin confusion. And the leader of the witches, Mother Anastasia. Jodie Turner-Smith's character is their mum. Anastasia is also their last name. May and Osha Anastasia. I always assumed May's last name would be The Force Be With You. What's up? I'm May. May the Force be with you. Sorry, terrible joke. Anyway. From what Leslye Headland's been saying, it sounds like the Witch Coven is a light side version of the Night Sisters of Dathomir. We get an awesome new shot of Coruscant. I was equally impressed by the Jedi Vector, the main type of starfighter Jedi used during the High Republic, designed to be a physical extension of their connection to the Force. And also, check this out, a Gonk droid with a prequels aesthetic. Also, another look at the Zygerian Jedi, another character they better make a figure of. And who's this guy? And what's his story? Oh my goodness, and look, they're doing Space Osha. Reminds me of Space Ahsoka from the Dave Filoni show. But then the way the shot pans over this massive capital cruiser is really cool. I mean look, credit's where credit is due. This is the most impressive teaser yet. Now one of the reasons we should demand this kind of visual excellence, and one of the reasons I guess it's not too surprising this show does have some incredible scenes, is due to a reveal from the New York Times. The budget for The Acolyte is literally of cinematic proportion, the second most expensive Star Wars TV show of all time. The entire budget of the 8 episodes was $180 million. It only comes second to Andor. Per episode, the budget is very similar, but the Tony Gilroy show in total for the 12 episodes came to a whopping bill of $250 million. So this comes very close. So we should expect top-notch visual effects, excellent, first-grade, good old Star Wars cinematography, and with a budget like this, they shouldn't have held back. To put this into perspective, on average an episode of The Mandalorian costs $15 million to make. And all Season 1 was $15 to $25 million per episode, although for Season 2 coming next year, we don't have any information just yet. A big portion of the show's budget, which I suspect might be the case for The Acolyte as well, was on-location filming in places like Scotland and other scenic parts of the UK. The total budget of The Acolyte Season 1 is literally double that of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The latter had a budget of $90 million for the entirety of the 6 parts. It goes back to fan frustrations as to what they should have prioritized, what they should have injected the money into. Some would say the kind of budget The Acolyte got should have gone to Kenobi, and that's due to the importance the Disney Plus show had in terms of the Skywalker saga between episodes 3 and 4. So The Acolyte's budget is absolutely enormous. So as fans, we should expect something absolutely first class. And continuing with The Acolyte, we do have some major reveals. The biggest marketing push you've ever seen. Interviews rampant with all of the cast and crew. Leslye Headland confirming theories about the twins, Amanda Stenberg, Rebecca Henderson, Daphne Keane, they're all talking about what to expect. And I'm going to give you my honest opinions about everything. The actors of the show are asked about which situation in the Star Wars saga would their characters want to see. In other words, if they could insert their characters into any scene, in the movies or the TV shows, to see how their character would react, which moment would it be? Amanda says she would love to see Osha, which is the twin Leslye Headland confirmed is the former Jedi, bear witness to Anakin losing to Obi-Wan on Mustafar. Obi-Wan says, "You are my brother, Anakin. I loved you." She says that Osha would have just stood there and shook her head. And I think this reveals something very interesting about the dynamic between Osha, the good twin, the former Jedi, and May the assassin who turned to the dark. I think Osha realizes it's pretty easy to fall down that route, but she avoided that fate herself. So maybe there is disappointment that she feels towards her sister. That is something to keep in mind. Leslye Headland also mentioned some of her influences, and it turns out, just like me, she is a massive fan of Attack of the Clones, citing one of her favourite moments being the marriage between Anakin and Padme on Naboo.
I love the wedding when he touches her hand.
Daphne Keane, who plays the half-Thelan, half-human Jedi Jackie Lon, mentions how a great deal of the show was inspired by the vibrance and weirdness of the aliens at the Mos Eisley Cantina on Tatooine in Episode 4, and Rebecca Henderson's Venestra Rowe, a favourite of the High Republic, also spilled the beans about her lightsaber whip. She addressed the controversy and said this: "You do have to twist the hilt to turn it into the light whip. At this point I believe she can do it with the Force. She no longer has to do it with her hands. And then you just have to be really careful because that thing flies around. It could take your head off. So there are downsides of it being rather impractical." Believe it or not, my dear friends, Daphne Keane's character Jackie Lon the Padawan was inspired in terms of design by David Bowie's Starman look. And I've got to say, Bowie was awesome. I loved his artistic side, his music was phenomenal, but some fans say she looks too human for a Thelan. I mean, her character is half human, but that being said, it is a very unique look. Describing her character, she says, "She is very wise and very intelligent, mature beyond her years." There's a really fun dynamic between Jackie and Charlie Bonnet's character Yord, and she teases there's one character who she won't say who it is, who brings out the softness in Jackie. She also mentioned there was a lore expert who sat them down and had meetings about what it means to be a Jedi, the various ranks and stages, so they really got inside the head of a Jedi during the time of the High Republic. I think that's crucial for the show, and they all tease very exciting, dramatic, lightsaber action. She talks about doing lots of spins, tons of stunts, so fingers crossed. Now something else they've finally done for the show is give us in-depth character descriptions, basically just trying to get us to know these characters. Jedi Master Sol, played by Lee Jung-jae, a wise, highly respected Jedi Master strong in the ways of the Force, still and stalwart. Sol has a deep sense of compassion and will defend those who cannot defend themselves. And you know, Lee Jung-jae is one of the most highly respected actors at the moment in Korea, and I just can't wait to see his talents translated into the Star Wars universe. Master Indara is a Jedi Master of great physical and mental skill. Though she does not seek combat, she is skilled enough to engage on her own terms. And you know who else is a very skilled Jedi during this time? One who also doesn't seek combat but instead peace? Master Yaddle. If they put her in the show, they would have won me over. I'm a huge Yaddle fan. But that being said, I don't think Master Indara is going to last very long, whereas if Yaddle does appear, she will. She lives all the way up to just before Qui-Gon's funeral. Then we have Kalnaka, and this reveals a new planet. A Wookiee Jedi Master, Kalnaka has sequestered himself in the tangled jungles of Kofar. He is a loner who lives a solitary life. Really awesome stuff, but what do you guys think?